50 games and 140 goals later, the UEFA Euro final is finally here. Is it coming home or is it going to Rome? Well, only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, that we will get to watch yet another good final like yesterday between Brazil and Argentina. Two of the best teams in the tournament have made it to the final, arguably two of the best according to me. बहुत लोग बोलेंगे कि नहीं, इंग्लैंड और इटली से भी बहुत अच्छी और टीम्स थी, बट वो दोनों टीम्स सबको हरा के फाइनल में पहुंची हैं डिजर्वेडली. यू बीट व्हाट इज़ इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, और इटली और इंग्लैंड दोनों सबको हरा के फाइनल में है. सो आई थिंक इट्स वेल डिजर्व्ड. We have so much to discuss today. I'm going to divide this video in 3 parts. First is we're going to take a look at the squads and the results of both the teams up to the final. Then we see which bench can make a bigger impact on the game. And lastly, if it goes to pens, who has the edge? So without wasting any further time, let's dive straight into it. My name is Mihir Merchant. Welcome back to the channel. It's the big one today. England versus Italy. Euro final, preview and prediction. Come on. Let's talk the home team first, England. First time ever in a final of a Euro competition. And they're playing it at home, they're playing it at Wembley. Alan Shearer ने बोला था कि England will not have a better chance of winning the Euros than now. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. They're playing at home. The crowd factor is going to help them so much. They're literally going to be the 12th man of the team. They're gonna cheer them up, they're gonna motivate them, and that is such a big plus point. England's performance throughout the competition has been really solid, and they won all their games except the one with Scotland, which is kind of a spanner in the works, and it's kind of giving Italy an opportunity to learn. If they can analyze the Scotland game and if they can recreate that, England can get frustrated. Italy have the power to do that. They have the physicality, they have the technical players to keep the ball, to hold players off. But other than that, England have been pure solid. The one result that stands out for England is the Ukraine game, the 4-0 victory. Everybody wanted to attack, everybody wanted to be on the score sheet. 4-0 is a very dominating scoreline anyway, and England showed that they were superior in attack, defense, midfield, goalkeeping. That Ukraine game was the most convincing and the most dominating performance by England in this tournament. But they did it against Germany as well. That game was massive. They won 2-0 against Germany, and that was a show of their solidarity and focus. They kept Germany at bay for the full game, especially in the first half when they had a lot of chances. Muller did miss an open goal, and maybe the game would have been different after 1-1, but they kept them at bay, and the few chances they got, they took. Late in the second half, they got 2 chances and they scored them. So the attack did its bit, the defense held out Germany full game, and that game showed that they played like a unit. From front to back, everybody was in sync. And with only 1 goal conceded and their team in the final, that means pretty much the whole squad has been playing on a very decent level. But some key players that you have to mention are Kane and Sterling, and you cannot look past these two. When you have Kane and Sterling in your team up top and they are performing, and you add to the mix a very solid, a very aware midfield with a defense where Luke Shaw is playing like Roberto Carlos and Slabhead alongside him, with John Stones and Kyle Walker on the right, and in goal, furthermore, you add to the mix a Jordan Pickford who has only conceded 1 goal from a free kick. You have to think that this is a formula for victory. This whole team are playing as a unit, and it's evident. Let's move on to Italy now. They're in the final again after 2012, and 2012 was really a tournament to forget. They lost that one. Mancini took over this team a few years ago, and it looks like under Mancini, this Italian team is having a new birth. They're enjoying a new life. After Antonio Conte left the job a few years ago, the Italian national team was not really on a good level, and they did not even qualify for the 2018 World Cup. There was a lot of chaos in the background that needed to be cleared. The players coming in had to be reinstilled with the belief, and Mancini has come in and has changed everything around with a magic spell. He's cleared all the rut, the team are performing, the selection of the players just amazing. I think when Mancini took over, a lot of people were calling him a madman because when he joined, he said and tried to convince people that he will get Italy to the Euros final and even try to win it. I remember Bernardeschi came out in an interview and he said that everybody was giving him a lot of stick for his bold and ambitious predictions. But hey, look at them now. 34 games unbeaten. Into the finals of the Euro Cup with a great squad. They have such a good chemistry. He's gotten them to play together and they look like they can go out and win it. And Mancini has kept a very good mix of young and old players. He's kept Chiellini and Bonucci at the back with Jorginho and Verratti in the middle. These are the experienced players and everybody around them is kind of still adjusting to playing at that level. But even the young ones like Chiesa, Locatelli, Spinazzola, he's got them playing like a well-drilled machine and nobody expected this. Nobody expected these players to play at this level, but Mancini has got it out of them. Look at Italy's results in this tournament, they have been really convincing. First up, that 3-0 win against Turkey, who were the dark horses for some reason. Yeah. In the knockout round, they did have to work a little though. They had to win a very hard-fought battle against Austria. It looked like Austria could even pull off an upset, but they somehow managed to get through, and that's what good teams do. They did not let it phase them when they faced Belgium next. They beat them 2-1 very comfortably. They were in control of that Belgium game pretty much from start to finish. So that was a solid performance. And then in the next round, they faced Spain. They were riding their luck a little bit on penalties. They got through, and that is what matters the most. Some key players for Italy, and the first name that comes to mind has to be Insigne. He is playing on such an elite level as a forward that he's almost indirectly covering up for Immobile's bad form. And no Italian key player segment is complete without mentioning the Italian defenders. I mean, Chiellini and Bonucci, I cannot speak enough about them. These two, hands down, have been one of the best defenders of this generation. And behind them in goal is Donnarumma. Yes, Donnarumma, the guy that feels like he has been 22 from the last 10 years. He has played for Italy and for his club, now gone to PSG though, at such a high level for so long that even in his early 20s he has collected a lot of valuable first team experience for his club and country. It looks like he's fighting with Pickford to be the best goalkeeper in this tournament. He has only conceded 3 goals up until now, but he has also made some very mind-blowing saves that have kept Italy in the game, in the tournament, single-handedly. This will be the most exciting battle to watch, England's attacking prowess versus the rock-solid defense of Italy. Besides the players, the second point that will make or break this final, that will decide who wins it, is going to be which bench will make a bigger impact on the game. Both teams have enough quality on the bench to bring on later in the game who can have an immediate impact within minutes and change the game around for their team. It's important to note that England have more attacking options on the bench, whereas Italy has kind of more positional depth. If we look at the English bench, I think they play a 3-4-3 or 4-3-3, but it's always 3 players at the top, 2 out of which are going to be Kane and Sterling, and the other one could be Grealish, Sancho, Saka, whoever. But that means we could potentially have Grealish, Rashford, Sancho, Mount, Foden, Saka, all on the bench. If you see the quality there. But we know this game is going to be a very close game. It's going to be 50-50. It's hard fought, not a lot of goals in it, so there will be a lot of running naturally. So in the second half, when the legs are gone and players are getting tired, the pace and the flair that is there on this English bench, I think that can come in really handy and change the game around for England. The Italian bench also has a lot of quality and very technical players on there. Chiesa, just like his father, is stepping it up on the big stage, and he has been played on the bench sometimes he started, But regardless, it's either him or Bernardeschi that they can bring on from the bench. And even at the striker's position, they've got Bellotti to replace Immobile. We also have to mention Emerson. He's not been a substitute. He just came on for Spinazzola and now he's pretty much the replacement at left back. But still, this goes to show that even in this Italian team, they might not have the big names, but they have players who are ready to perform whenever the coach, their country, whenever it needs them. Third point that I would talk about is penalties. You cannot forget that scenario, okay? What happens if it goes to penalties? Who has the edge? So when we are expecting such a close game, we also have to accept that there could be a possibility of penalties. But if it goes to penalties, deep down, I think everybody knows that Italy might have a slight advantage, slight. And because it's at home, and if it goes to penalties for England, that could be a bit tricky because the nervousness in the stadium, it starts to build, you know, the head starts to go and the fans are then feeding off of that nervousness to the players, and it's going to be so hard for England to keep their focus. So after everything said and done, it's time for the prediction, and I am lost. I am honestly lost. I was sat here for 1 hour and I cannot choose a winner. I don't think anybody can predict a clear winner in this game. I have decided on the winner, and I think after weighing all the pros and the cons, I think England get their hand on their first ever European trophy. I think England win this 2-1. England should have everything in their locker, on the bench, in the goal, at the back, in the defense and up front to get past Italy in normal time or extra time. Like I said in the previous segment, if it goes to penalties, Italy have a slight advantage. So if England need to win according to my prediction, they need to do it in the 90 or by the 120th minute. But it should not go to pens because England will end it 2-1 before penalties and lift their first ever trophy.